Jen here with this month's Stretch the Sketch layout. I just showed you the sketch that we're using, and it's a sketch by Scrap Africa. I love it. I love the big circles, and I'm doing something a little bit different this month. I created a layout for the Craft IQ challenge that happens monthly. It's this really fun challenge where every day you get a new layer, and so you kind of create this layout in pieces as you follow along layer by layer. And so I had some pictures that I pulled out that I wanted to use for that layout, and then I didn't get them all onto the layout. So I decided that today I'm making a 12 by 12 layout, which is probably cheating, but technically it is actually sort of a 2-page spread. They aren't super matchy, but they're the same event. They're pictures from the same event, and I'm going to follow the same kind of color scheme, and I'm going to add a bunch of the same elements so that they're pretty similar. You'll definitely see that they don't look exactly the same, but I wanted to kind of keep all of those elements so that I could kind of scrapbook the entire event as a 2-page layout. So a little bit of cheating, but I still wanted to show you guys, and I think it turned out really nice. I kind of like that the pages are unique, but also share similar elements and a similar color scheme. And so you definitely can kind of look at them and read them as one full layout. And obviously the pictures, when you see the pictures, they are from the same day and they match. So that also helps as well. So I'm starting off by creating these circles. I didn't want to do 2 big giant circles. I kind of just wanted to do sort of the 2 corners because I wanted to add a few layers to the circles. So this is what I'm doing to kind of create that. And I don't have a circle cutter. Well, I sort of do, but I don't use it very often. It's really big and it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So I used the old twine and pencil trick to kind of cut the circle out of the red paper that was naturally there. That is from Moda Scrap, and it's this really fun kind of wintry, Christmassy collection. And it just happens to have very similar colors to the My Mind's Eye collection that I used in the other layout. So I do have one little piece of that collection that I'm using. It's that polka dot paper that you see, but the Moda Scrap has very similar feel and colors to it. So I went ahead and pulled those out. And then here I'm just going to do some really kind of rough blue kind of bigger circles so that they sort of come together in the center because the 2 circles on the sketch meet. And so I wanted to have some sort of element that actually meets together and gives the same impression that you see in the sketch. But mine is more corner to corner instead of sort of the majority of the circle showing. Hopefully this is all making sense. And also, I just wanted to play with some watercolors because I haven't done a lot of that lately. So I'm just picking the blues because that was the 3rd color in the color scheme of my previous layout. I kind of stuck to green, red, and then the blue. So that's what I'm going to do with my watercolor here. And I'm adding in all different shades because I knew I wasn't going to get the exact match. The layout is beside me so I can kind of look at it and reference it, but I'm not perfect at matching colors, and so I kind of go for blending lots of different shades together, and then I feel like you don't have to have an exact match. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and just back these pictures with that polka dot paper. So that is from the My Mind's Eye collection that I used in my first layout. And I just wanted to have a couple of these other colors kind of popping through. But as you can see, it is primarily like a very, very pale blue. That's actually the background color of that paper. It's not cream or white. And then there are a couple different shades of green, and there is the red, and then there's a darker blue, I think. So I'll just back these 3 pictures. I'm going to save that little strip because all those little dots kind of came out perfectly. And then I've been doing this a lot lately. I used to do this all the time, and then I kind of stopped. While my paper is drying, I'm just kind of taking all the elements that I know I'm going to use and just roughly placing them down to give myself an idea of what I might want to do with them. All right, so we're not totally dry, but we're dry enough that I can start kind of piecing things together, and I'm super impatient, but I just wanted to kind of piece it all together, see if I had made my blue in roughly the right area, which I'm going to have my pictures kind of covering up a whole bunch of that. So I'm not too worried that some of the white is showing between the green and the blue. Yeah, I need to be working on something, I guess. So in Craft IQ, there are 7 layers that we had to work with. And so I'm trying to do some of those layers, and that's sort of the repetition. So one of them was inking the edges. And so here I am going to ink the edges of these papers and kind of, give that same feeling because that's in the first layout. The red, the green, and the blue was layer number 1. I had to pick a pattern paper, and then I had to pick 3 colors from that paper to use in the layout. So that's another thing that I'm repeating on this layout to kind of make them feel cohesive. And then here you can see I decided that I'm going to flip the orientation of this layout. That was actually the bonus challenge for Craft IQ, was to take the layout you were kind of designing layer by layer and then flip it before you actually finish it and glue everything down. So I decided with the sketch, I would go ahead and kind of flip it. So I've got my, what are they, quarter circles? I've kind of got them in the opposite corners to what they are in the sketch. Have I done anything else? Ink the edges. I think those are the only layers right now that I've kind of repeated. So in the silver. So another layer was to add silver elements. So I have my little title up there that has some silver in it. That's just a sticker set from Dollar Tree. It could be Dollarama. I can't remember which one. But it has little snowflakes and snowmen and kind of wintry sentiments to it. And I use that in the other layout. And then I also use these tags, and I heat embossed on the tags. That was layer 2, I think. So I'm going to bring a tag in to this layout, and I just wanted to create a little pocket there so that I can journal on this tag and easily slide it in and out. I'm not putting my journaling in the same place that you see it in the sketch because I have 3 pictures here instead of 2 pictures. And so that third picture kind of fills the spot where the journaling would be. So I'm going to hide my journaling on a tag. So I'll stick my pictures down now that I know the orientation of the paper and I know where I want my pictures to go. I'll go ahead and make sure that they're stuck down. Of course, I stuck this sticker down too hard and it's not where I want it to be, but I can't get it up, so I have to move the picture. It will bug me through the whole layout. You'll see me fussing with it and pointing to that little kind of trapped white space down at the bottom under that portrait picture. but I'm going to fill it here with a little ribbon bow. And I did use this ribbon on the other layout. So again, this is something else that I'm carrying over. It's this bright red ribbon and it has snowmen on it. So it definitely kind of works with that wintry theme. And that bow does end up staying there to kind of cover that little trapped white space that I don't like, that was driving me crazy. And so here I'm going to go ahead and emboss on these tags because I did it on the other layout. I used these exact 3 snowflakes, but they're all in different places on the tags in the other layout. But here I'm going to pop them all at the top just because I know I'm going to tuck them in behind that picture. And I left 2 that I could journal on. I don't think I have that much that I want to write about the day necessarily. So if I end up only needing 1 tag to journal on, I will just stick down the second tag. But I didn't stick it down just in case. One of them, I knew I wasn't going to need 3. So one of them I do go ahead and stick down properly. But the other 2 I'll kind of leave to see how much I want to say. There really isn't a lot to say. It was New Year's Day and we went out tobogganing. It was such a gorgeous day. The weather was perfect for tobogganing. So out we went with the kids and we had a blast, and the baby had a blast with his, first time tobogganing. So that's kind of it. I don't think I need 2 tags for that, but we'll see. So I'll put all of my embossing stuff away. I think this was a pretty successful embossing expedition for me. I usually make a huge mess, but I didn't this time, so I'm kind of proud of myself. So here is the 1 tag that I'll go ahead and stick down for sure. And in the other layout, I kind of did this same technique where I made these ribbons into little bows and I used them at the top of the tags. So I'm going to do it with 2 of them, this silver one and then this other kind of clear. It's sort of clear and it's just lined with silver. Yeah, I don't know how else you describe ribbon, but that's what it is. They're very pretty little ribbons that I have in my Christmas ephemera box. And then I'm just going to leave this regular twine on the last one because obviously on the other page I used the snowman ribbon, and here I want to use it as a bow. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down right there, and then I'll just leave the tags the way they are. And I keep going back to these stickers because there were snowmen that were on this sticker sheet that I used on the other page, and I really wanted some other element from this sticker sheet that I could have repeating on this page because I used up all of the snowmen on the last page. And so I ended up cutting some little kind of snowflakes and went ahead and put them down. And this little piece of paper that I'm adding into my little horizontal strips, I actually have as a scrap from the last page. So I was able to carry it over. I think that is the only pattern paper that I have from the other page that I was able to bring over to this page. Oh no, that's not true. I do have the silver paper that I used. And then also in those horizontal strips, I added some washi tape that I used on the other layout as well. And those kind of represent the spot in the sketch where it looks like there was maybe a little bit of sewing or hand stitching. I didn't do that, but I still wanted to kind of have an element that represented that. So that's why I added those strips. And those also are sort of in the other layout as well. Obviously not in exactly the same place, but there is that horizontal strip element. So it kind of, again, is a carryover. And then here is the silver paper that I'm just going to tuck in as 2 little kind of layers behind the pictures. And then I'm going to cut out some snowflakes. I could not for the life of me find my single snowflake punch that I have, I actually think I have two of them from Martha Stewart. I couldn't find them. I have no idea where they are. That's the problem when you move house. You think that you have packed and you're super organized, and inevitably there's something that you can't find. And for me, it is my snowflake punches and my Valentine's collections. I don't know why. They're probably together. I don't know why they would be together, but in any case, this punch seems to work. I just had to do a little MacGyvering to cut it out from being a border or a banner and make them individual little snowflakes. So I ended up getting 3 of them that I could kind of put in the little clusters. So one up by the title, and then the other 2 are sort of over where these little horizontal strips are. And that was just that extra little element of embellishment that I needed because I didn't have a whole lot. And then now you can see the 2 pages together, and I think they definitely read like they go together, but maybe not quite as a 2-page spread, but I'm totally okay with that because I actually love how this turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. All the links to everybody else who's stretching the sketch today are down below. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.